Hello folks, Chris, East Coast Water Quality. We're going to do a quick run through of some of the stuff you see online. We get the constant questions, what's the difference in what you sell? And why are some of these systems quite a bit cheaper that we see that you can go buy off the shelf or buy online? And there's two main ones that I've been getting a lot of calls about and comparisons. I don't feel they're hard to beat once you kind of see the differences in what these equipment are and really what you're paying for and what the end dollar amount you're going to end up spending by the time you're done. I'm going to start real quick with this Springwell, and let me be clear and honest. These guys are really good at web marketing, beautiful YouTube videos. By the time you get done watching it, you feel amazing inside and everything's going to be perfect. Not always the case, but I'm going to start with a couple fundamental things between what I would say a legit water treatment company. First of all, if you haven't seen in some other videos, if they don't have a dealer that installs, a master plumber that installs their products, there's a reason. Especially for some of the prices they sell for, we would love to buy them ourselves and put them in if we knew they wouldn't be service nightmares. That being said, let's give them a fair shot and explain what the differences are. This Springwell one, as you guys can see, the very first system that pops up on here, because a lot of us are in city water, is what's called an in and out head. And the system that you see on the one side that doesn't have any sort of head on it whatsoever, that's called an in and out. Hardly anyone will ever use these. So whenever you see these without a backwashing head, meaning something with a computer on the top of it, whenever you see it without a computer on the top of it, it means it doesn't backwash. It doesn't, fluff that resin bed up when it's done, push all the excess waste down the drain, repack that resin, which is extremely important. It causes what's called tunneling, is the easiest verbiage you could use. There's 8 different ways to say it. And that water ends up going right through the middle after a couple weeks. And that's why most systems are set for every 2 weeks with a computer. They're going to regenerate, whether they're using salt or not. That's a different topic. But that on this system here, they're telling you that chlorine and everything's going to be taken out of there with the ammonia, hopefully using catalytic carbon. And that system is the pre-treatment and going into the water softener. And then that uses sodium. And it does have what you see, a little blue canister filter on there. The reality of it is that blue canister filter, I never recommend putting them on. It's just one more thing for you to change. And you don't have that much of a sediment problem on city water. Your water softener will trap all that. In fact, with this in and out, that's usually what's going in first. They'll tell you that chlorine protects the resin beads in the softener so that you don't have to change those resin beads. Now, what happens to the carbon that's in that first tank? Over time, even though it's been tunneling, you're going to have to replace that carbon in that system as well. And so you may not have to replace the whole home softening system right there, the one with the computer, but you will have to replace that carbon. Probably last you 5 years or so. It's not a bad amount of time, 5 to 6 years. Then the pre-sediment one, eventually it's not really doing anything. I would just take if you ended up getting this, I would just take the canister out. However, it's 2 more leak points. So inlet, outlet coming out of there. And in fact, when you add all these up, how many do we have? 6. You have 2 on the first one, 2 on the next one, 2 on the third of those systems. All right, so that's that guy. All in all, will this do the trick for you? Most likely. What are you going to pay a plumber to install this? So, of course, it's got a beautiful price there, $42.24. Seems like that's going to be the price that you're going to pay. How much am I going to get somebody to plumb it for? You're not going to get a plumber to plumb this less than, I'm going to say $2,000, and that's if it's an easy shut off in the garage type of installation. People don't realize how much plumbing is, but of course you get a hot water heater. It's $2,200, $2,300 to have anybody change out a hot water heater. Everybody knows the hot water heater is only $400 at Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever you want to go pick that up. $400 to $500. So you're paying for the plumbing, the licenses, the insurance. So that's not a crazy price. So there, you're mid sixes. Now you say, what's the warranty on that? That's a great question. The warranty is really, I don't know on this product. You have to go through the 1, 3, 5 year warranty, maybe at best. And here's the deal though. Once you pay that plumber to install it, yes, the $25, $30 part, from China, wherever it is, don't put that on in stone. I don't know exactly where all the parts are made for some of these online systems. You can't keep up with that. However, once you have an issue with that, you pay the plumber. If the plumber knows what he's doing, which they're not water filtration experts, they'll come out, charge you for a couple hours, $300 to $500 to figure out what they think is wrong, give you back the $50 part. You ship it back to California, wherever it came from. You'll get it back a month later, whenever they send it to you. Then you're gonna pay the plumber again to come back out. So those fees keep racking up. You do have a little warranty on the part. However, how long it takes you to get that plumber out there, all those type of things, depending on what kind of water conditions that you're in. Again, this system too is only for city water, not for well water with iron or any other type of issues. I'm jumping over to this Aquasana real quick. I'm trying to make this video fast. These are the ones that you see the most. Just so we're clear, this one here that we're looking at with Aquasana, it's got all these tanks, all these beautiful different points in here. This Springwell, Springwell, they have the same type of, all these online companies have the same type of setup. This right here really makes you feel warm inside. You're like, look at all of those devices. I'm gonna have clean water, definitely. In fact, this one here is actually the first thing, of course, you're going into is that pre-sediment filter. It's a little bit bigger than the other one, but what's it actually doing? We don't know, because this is really based on city water. Because you say, why do you know it's city water? Well, it's talking about removing chloramines right there. That first tall tank with the catalytic carbon on. Basically, what it's doing is the first one's going into a 20-inch filter that you really don't need. It's not doing anything, but what does it do? It does add 2 leak points, and you're going to have to pay that plumber to install another unit. Then it's going into another in and out. That's just a different type of in and out right there for the most part. You are going to form the tunneling through there. There is no backwashing. There is no, because that's where the money comes in, is when you get into computers and some of the technology that's not the 1950s. Then you run into, after you go into this first taller one, that's your carbon. The next one, this one will really blow you away. Different video, different time. A salt-free water softener. There is no such thing as a salt-free water softener. Do they call it at least a conditioner? Salt-free water conditioner. So they at least call it a water conditioner. That's where you're getting into what's called descaling media, where it takes all the hardness in your water and crystallizes it, and it doesn't stick to any of your stuff. I could sell you one of these too, but we won't. Honestly, it's just everybody in the industry knows what these do, which is pretty much, I don't want to say nothing, but you don't get any of the benefits of soft water, all the benefits from softer skin, hair, dishes, laundry, all of those things that it crystallized. They're still stuck in everything. All right, so I'm not going to get on that. Again, you see no head, no backwashing, no anything. These, again, are not for well water. Some people, I get calls and they're like, oh, I've got to get all this equipment for my well water. In fact, you actually would never even get to filter your well water if it had any iron, because the first thing it's going to do is get trapped in that pre-filter. You're going to have no water pressure. You're not even going to be able to run it into this other system that's all carbon, which isn't meant for well water. So well water, just don't even look at this guy. Let's move on. Then you say, hey, why is there another little canister filter on there? Shouldn't it already be clean before it goes into the UV light? Why would you need? Well, not really, because you didn't remove anything out of the water for the most part, hardness-wise. You did take some chemical out, which is fantastic. I highly recommend doing that. But no, that's going to probably be a 5-micron sediment filter to get it down so that it doesn't scratch the lens on that UV light. Now, another good question about this UV light. If you've done one of these and you're just doing a little bit more research because your system's not working and you're trying to diagnose what's going on here because you don't want to pay the plumber again, look, I don't recommend on the UV light. Again, there's going to be people in the industry that will say it, but the point is unless you're completely bored, that UV light is just zapping dead bacteria. There's so much chlorine and ammonia in the water in most of our territories in Virginia and North Carolina. You've already killed all the bacteria. Then it goes in here, then it comes out, and it's not like it's sitting long, and then it goes into that UV light. So do you need it? I don't think so, because if you're worried about drinking, I still would never drink any water, different video, unless it's ran through a reverse osmosis unit and we're getting those forever chemicals out and all the other stuff that's in there. Jumping over here to this other Aquasana. Before I jump over there, I don't even have the price in front of me on this one. You can probably see it on your screen. All I can tell you is I've actually had somebody ask me to plumb these in many, many times. It's the same price. We're not going to, if it's an easy install, and the main lines in the garage, there's nothing crazy. We're going to charge $2,600, and we're going to be the cheapest you're going to find to plumb this in. I've gotten tons and tons of quotes, anywhere from $2,500 to $3,500 from other plumbers to plumb these in. You say, well, look how many leak points it is. And that's really an important point when you're talking about leak points. And I don't care how good your installer is, your plumber is, at some point in time when stuff's getting pressurized and repressurized, and when you talk about how many times you're going to repressurize and pressurize this system, it's going to be a ton. You have all these little pre-filters that, again, aren't doing anything. All they do is slow your water pressure down. It's one more thing to run your water through. You're going to have to change those quite frequently to take them out, and when you take them out, you're going to put them back in. Don't tighten them too much. I'll just give you a little pre-warning. That's how the O-rings get crimped up, and how you get a lot of leaks down the road after everything repressurizes and goes back through it. But that's between the UV light, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. You got 10 leak points right there, 10 places that could possibly leak in there. And I'm going to simplify all that down into what it is that we recommend, what it is that we use. All right, so jumping on this last one, look on these Aquasana, and I tried to go on there a little bit on these sites, and I've got tons of stuff where people have sent me things. We'll ignore these 3.3 ratings on here. This is another Aquasana, and this one here has got a 2 tank. I think this one's really nice because it's got the lady. It's got a lady on there actually taking the wrench tool and undoing that big 20-inch filter. You know, I want to tell you on the plumbing side, I really wish you'd give, no matter who you're giving consideration to, if hopefully it's a legit water treatment company. I don't bash my competitors. There's a couple with good products that do the same thing. I don't think anyone's going to warranty their products like we do or be as fast as we come out and do it, but that's not what this video is about. But this lady here undoing that water filter and just putting it back on, look, I hope that she shut all those valves off properly. I hope they're all working properly. I can tell you from doing water filtration for close to 20 years, you can buy the best product from what you feel is the best manufacturer. You're still going to get a dud in there, here and there. You're still going to have crazy things happen in its life. And for this poor woman undoing this water filter right here, I sure hope that all the valves are working when she undoes that and the water doesn't just start spraying everywhere, because I highly doubt she knows what to do if that's the case. And that's what you're paying for with a professional company, is when that accident does happen. And so summarize all this, you say, well, hey, you're just talking bad about other companies and different things. I'm not. I'm truly explaining what it is that you're getting, and that you're paying a plumber all these. You're going to be probably, without even getting a drinking water system, you're going to be well over $5,000+ by the time you pay anyone to plumb them, and you still really don't have any kind of warranty to speak of. You said, and look at how many different pieces of leak points and equipment there is here. This is what we use. This is our Protector Series 1. We have 3 different series. That's another thing you can look on our website. The Series 1 and the Series 2 are what I'd always recommend. They are lifetime warranty parts, 1 year on the labor warranty. Make sure all of our plumbing's right and tight. And then after that, we hope to not see you again, except for doing annual filter changes for your drinking water, which we do a free inspection on the system at that time. But let's just say all you wanted to do was just get the chlorine, get the hardness out of your water. This is all you need. We use a mixed bed system. What's the argument against this one system, which has 2 leak points on it, just the inlet, the outlet? You say, how does it do all of this stuff that all these systems do? It's all in one unit. And the argument from one of these companies, if you found the right person to talk to over the phone after you sit on hold for 45 minutes, and if they tried to give you an argument against one of these systems, they would go, hey, you have to rebed that whole system. You know, every so often. You're right. About every 5 to 7 years, depending on how much water you use and the chlorine, the carbon in this system will end up getting eaten up. We use only catalytic carbon and activate it. We'd have to rebed that whole system. We do that. All the media inside is free. It is the most expensive labor, around $600 that you would pay to have that done about every 5 to 7 years, depending on how much water you use in most cases. Versus these things, how much are you spending to change the filters constantly? I guarantee you it's going to, and then if you pay anyone to do it, you're going to be well over $1,000 during that same amount of period of time. But you had all the extra leak points. Yeah, it definitely had lower water pressure. How do you run your water into, 5 different things before you actually come out? When this will do every single thing that you want. We can program all your settings into it so it's the most salt efficient. And again, check out our series line on there. There is 3 different ones. We have something to fit in every single budget. You're typically going to be quite a bit less than what you actually will be on a finished product here, except every time you have an issue, we'll be to you within 24 hours. Hopefully you have no issues, but at the end of the day, we are just a bunch of humans here, but we make everything right if something does happen. And I appreciate your time in checking this out. Hopefully it's a little bit educational. It's pretty much the same thing no matter what Aqua H2O. They come out with a different name every 5 minutes with a new product on here. So, all right, so to close this out, biggest difference that you're going to find between a legit company and the stuff that you're seeing online is really just the accountability. And what you won't see is, like you see behind me, all these customers that we have on our testimonial, and we have, I don't even want to put a number to it. We come out and make sure that your water is clean after 30 days, within 30 days after installation. We want you to know that, we want to know you're happy, not hope you're happy. And we want you to know that what you paid for is what you got. You can't always get that with somebody that you wait 30 minutes to talk to over the phone in California. And keep in mind those plumbers, that they're just on to another service call. So nothing wrong with the plumbers. We're a master plumber. We want to do all those services too. That's why it's a really bigger relationship. And really us and other water treatment companies is we want everything. We want to change your faucets off your kitchen sinks. We want to change your hot water heaters. We're not just water filtration. That's what we specialize in, but we want to stick a yard sign in your yard as many times as we possibly can. And we hope you love us, and it's really important to us. You know, some of these online companies, they could go out of business in 6 months, a year. You know, they can open up under a different name and start selling a different aqua this, aqua that. However, we're happy to be here and getting these video testimonials. We look forward to talking to you soon. Cost-wise, could you save a little bit in some scenarios to do that? Hopefully the education I was giving you a minute ago on the right way to do it, what you need and what you don't need. As you could tell, I eliminated lots of pieces on the front and the back ends of these collections of equipment that you really just don't need. You can do it all in one tank. Less leak points, good water pressure. It's really important that you don't run it through anything more than what you have to run it through. Any other questions, just give us a call here at East Coast. You can ask to speak to Chris, and I'll do my best. Have a great day.